Hello, and welcome to the Mystery Case Files Huntsville location tier list. I'm MCFPapa. In this video, I'm going to be ranking all of the locations you visit in Huntsville, and it'll be different really for each of them what my criteria is. Sometimes they might have a cool suspect I like, sometimes I might like the location just based on itself. Sometimes I might even give it a bit of points just for how cool it looks on the map. I bet you weren't expecting another bonus video after I had done so many already recently, but to personally celebrate the 20 years of MCF, I replayed through Huntsville yet again, and so I decided, what the heck, I'm gonna do another tier list for the locations, because I don't know when else I'd get an opportunity to do this and have it be kind of fitting, because otherwise it probably would have to wait till 25 years of Huntsville or 30 years of Huntsville before getting around to doing this. So that's why I want to do it now. So to start things off, Alice's Diner. I really enjoy Alice's Diner. I'll put it in B tier. I'm just gonna clarify this now. Even the ones I might put into C or D, I don't really think are bad. I think all the locations are pretty good in this game. While Alice's Diner itself doesn't have that much special going on to me, I do give it some props for having Bill Larson as the villain for it, and it is just a really nice sort of old-timey diner feel to it. That helps sell the game's sort of timeless aesthetic really well. Now, Al's Music Emporium, I'm gonna put it in D tier, but just that, once again, D for decent, not anything like it's bad or anything. But I just really don't care for how much stuff is going on in the scene. It feels very cluttered in a way that, even though like pretty much all these scenes have dozens of items in, Al's Music Emporium feels the most cluttered and hard to find stuff in. The Art Museum. Another location, like, it's decent. I like all the artwork in it, but it's just kind of bland to me. And what doesn't help is Guilty as L being the suspect for it. But it's still a fairly nice location. Now, the Auto Body Shop, I'm putting that in S tier. I love the Auto Body Shop with its, like, car in progress and the tool chest and stuff and the neat sort of color palette to it. What also adds to its allure is that it only shows up twice in the game, so that helps make it feel more special and unique compared to some of the others that'll show up 5+ times. Well, Al's Music Emporium also, I think, only shows up twice, but because I don't really love the scene for Al's Music Emporium, its rarity doesn't add to its allure, whereas it does for the Auto Body Shop because I love how it looks on its own. Next, the bookstore. I'll put it A tier, I guess. It's a nice sort of like cozy bookstore, you know? Not like a big chain Barnes and Noble sort of thing, but a nice small, like, small town bookstore that feels really cozy. You know, I would love to sit in it and just read books or check out the cafe in the background. Now, Captain's Inn. This is one I feel is actually a bit overused. I do think it's a decent enough location on its own, even if I don't necessarily like Hoodwink Harry, but I'm putting it in C just because I feel it's used a bit too often, and would have liked some of the other locations I like better to have gotten a few more appearances instead. Now, Greg's Toyland. This one is really nice to see. Like, they did a great job having a ton of images of retro sort of vintage toys from like the 50s in it. I guess they did that because that way they wouldn't have to pay for any real name brand modern toys licensing. But it works really well, and I do really enjoy like the vivid colors of all the different toys, because they didn't just go with one type of toy either. They made sure to have a ton of different ones. So I really like the Toyland. Now for Hunt and Peck, you know it's probably gotta go straight into S tier after all I ranked it so highly in the top 10 hidden object scenes video. So gotta put it up in S tier. And I just really enjoy Hunt and Peck, even though it is used a ton. It's just so iconic, and when I think of Huntsville, like pretty much the first thing I'll think of is Hunt and Peck Attorneys at Law, because it was the first location I saw. And just something about the law office I think works a lot better as a hidden object scene, even more than the other first level scene, the bookstore. So that's why I'm putting it in S. Huntsville Fire Station. I'll put it there. I enjoy the fire truck and the dog in it, and I was gonna put it in B, but I give it slight props for having an actual unique version of the image for when you're investigating the alarmist. So that gives it props, because the fire alarm's been pulled, of course the fire truck wouldn't be in the station for the image, so that gives it a bit more to it. Now, Ivan's Cafe, I'm putting it in D tier because I just find the location kind of boring and bland. Once again, it's not necessarily bad, but it just is very dull. Like, at least with the bookstore, I felt kinda cozy in it, but Ivan's Cafe just looks really ugly in my opinion, especially the choice of the weird red colored curtains. And also, since it has my least favorite of the villains in the game, that's why I'm putting it in D tier. At least with Al's Music Emporium, like, it had some cool sort of musical instrument theming to its items to find, whereas Ivan's Cafe really doesn't have that theming going on for it. Now, the Mausoleum. I'll put it... No, I'll put it in B tier. Now, the Mausoleum is kind of ugly in my opinion too, but at least with this, it has some cool stuff going on, like the sarcophagus, the ghost in the air, the one coffin open a crack with a bony skeletal leg about to step out. So that's why I'm putting it in B tier. Nautical Museum. I do enjoy it. I'll put it in A tier. No, I'll put it higher than that. I guess right there is fine. I really enjoy the sort of like maritime theming it has with it, and I think it's a lot more visually appealing of a scene than the art museum was, so that's why I'm putting it here. Though I guess I should clarify, even though I like the design of some of these on the map screen, I'm not gonna deduct any points from them for reusing the designs from other locations. Like the Nautical Museum is just the art museum recolored and flipped, or Captain's Inn is copying Hunt and Peck Attorneys at Law's look. But I'm not gonna give or deduct tiers based on that alone. Now, Paul's Exotic Pets. I'm putting it in S tier because I really enjoy the pet store. And I love how they have all the common pets you'd expect to find in a pet store in this scene. And there's a bunch of other pet-related stuff decorating it as well. And once again, it has the cozy sort of factor, you know, where it's not like brutal, sterile dog pound where all the dogs are kept in cages. It's a lot more warm and inviting, with a lot of the pets allowed to just roam freely in the store. Makes it feel like the owner really does genuinely love animals. I assume the owner is Paul, though we never get to meet Paul. Maybe someday, if they ever make a sequel to Huntsville, we'll get to learn who Paul was. Next, the Pete's Pawn Shop. Now, I would put the location itself like roughly the same as the Captain's Inn, but I just really like the design of the building on the map. It's like this giant, like, repurposed barn or something. So because the building is just so weird and unique in design, I'm putting it here. I wonder if originally they had some sort of farm hidden object scene planned and just copied their design and changed it a bit to fit Pete's Pawn Shop. But it works really well and fits that, like, a pawnbroker would be wanting to save as much money as possible, so they just buy whatever building they can for cheap. So I really like that. Reptile House, I'll put it there. Like, I think it's okay. I love the reptile theming to it, but it just doesn't feel as exciting to me as the other animal themed locations, the pet store or the tropical fish store. So that's why I'm putting it there. Alright, Rudy's Barber Shop. I'm putting it... Yeah, no, I'll put it in S tier. Ha, right alongside the other image on the map that's copying that building design. But Rudy's a really nice location. It has great theming about being a barber shop, but I love, like, all the more unique elements it has, like the weird wig with green hair and all the photos of people haphazardly on the wall. And also because it's a rare glimpse into the outside of Huntsville through the barbershop's window. So because of that, I'm giving it S. Okay, now Science Museum. I guess bottom of A. Like, I don't like it quite as much as the Nautical Museum, but it is still really nice. And it has a bunch of weird, like, science-y doodads that you would see in, like, old science fiction movies. So I really enjoy seeing those. Once again, it's another one that really does the timeless aesthetic of Huntsville very well. And so that's why I'm putting it in A tier. Next, Stain's Secret Headquarters. This is a great location. I'm putting it below Hunt and Peck because I don't like it quite as much as Hunt and Peck. And with Stain's Secret Hideout, like, it does feel like a cozy grandmother's sort of home, but what's so funny about it is there's all sorts of criminal things, including a nuke inside the place, and also you get to see little dolls. I guess Gertrude Goodwittle crocheted herself based on various lower members in the Stain organization. So I don't know, maybe she was making them for like the Christmas get-together party or something. But they look really nice, and as its own special scene for the final level of the game that doesn't show up at all beforehand, it's a very good scene. So that's why I'm putting it S tier. Huntsville Cemetery. I love the Huntsville Cemetery so much. I would consider putting it top of S tier, but I'll put it below Hunt and Peck. Even though, like, as a scene, I love Huntsville Cemetery more. Like, just in isolation, if I had to pick between the two, I'd choose Huntsville Cemetery as the better scene. But Hunt and Peck just has a lot more of an iconic status, so that's why I'm giving it the edge. But I really enjoy all the spooky elements of the Huntsville Cemetery, and also the morbid humor of the graves being robbed for stuff for the pawn shop. And in my early years of playing Huntsville, I would always look forward to level 10. Why? Because that's the first one that the Huntsville Cemetery appears in. But Hunt and Peck gets a very slight edge, I'd say, for being more iconic. Tropical Fish Store. I like the Tropical Fish Store, but now, like, on its own, I think the scene is pretty good, but I think what brings it down for me some is that Madame Fate with the Ringmaster's Tent fish tank did a much better looking fish tank sort of scene. And so that's why I'm only putting it in B tier, because they could have done a lot more with the Tropical Fish Store in this game, I feel. And even though they would eventually do more with that similar sort of scene, I would have liked to see it done a bit better here in Huntsville. And maybe it's not fair for me to bring a scene down some for what a future game did, but I just feel it's not that special of a scene compared to some of the other ones in A and S tier. So even on its own merits, I'd say B is an appropriate place for it. And finally, Ty's Clock Shop. So I'm gonna put it A tier. Because with the clock shop, I just really enjoy the all the various different types of clocks they put in the scene. They put in so many. They had a reference to the iconic melted clocks painting. They had a backwards clock. They had a sundial. They had an hourglass. They had a time punch-in clock. They had a clock shaped like a rocket. They had a grandfather clock. They had just so much related to time, and even had a cover of Time magazine in the scene, and musical time signatures in it. And so because they did so much with clocks, I love the clock shop, and so I'm putting it in A. The only reason it's not an S tier is because I don't like the look of the location itself quite as much as some of these S tier ones, but it's still a very good scene. And as you can see with this tier list, I had a hard time putting any in the lower tiers, even though D isn't meant to be bad, it's meant to be D for decent, but I still had trouble even putting ones in there. And I think that's just a testament to how good the design and aesthetics was in the original Huntsville, that even after all these years, even after playing it who knows how many dozens of times, I still love so many of the scenes so much. And so I hope this was informative. Feel free to share what some of your favorite scenes from Huntsville are. I hope you enjoyed the bonus video in addition to all the other bonus videos I did recently. So like and subscribe if you want, and I'll hopefully see you Wednesday for the first part of my blind let's play of Mystery Case Files: The House That Love Built. So look forward to that.